Welcome
Oh,
back.
wow.
Hello.
We definitely didn't do another recording before this. What do you mean?
It's a whole look, hold on. It's a whole new day. It's a whole new day. I have a whole new look and
Oh
everything.
no. Oh no.
What are we
They're running
talking
away.
about? It didn't happen today.
Shit. It's a new day.
It's a new day. Yeah.
It's
what's
a
up?
whole new day. Hey guys, welcome to another day of The Amazing Race. We're talking about The Amazing Race, and this episode was a mega leg. But
we love a mega leg.
Before we jump into that,
welcome to the cup.
Hold on, Logan. If you would have let me finish my thoughts, we would have done that. Jesus.
Oh God, we're so organized.
We're so organized. Organized chaos is what we are, people. But yes, we're talking about The Amazing Race because it's a mega leg. But before we do that, hi everybody. I'm Lana. Welcome to the Cup. I am your resident diva, here to give the tea, spill the tea. And if you have tea, you know what to do. Hit me up in my box so I can spread the tea amongst the masses. Because here at the Cup, this is where you come first to quench your reality thirst. And we put the tea in reality, period. So, hey, how y'all doing? And I'm drinking water because water.
I'm Logan. Say something gay. Gay here with more coffee, and I don't want to hear anything about it, Jack.
Don't bring
we both have a problem. I'm just being honest.
I'm not calling you out for the amount of coffee you're drinking, Jack.
Not us bringing off-camera stuff on camera, like
that's of course.
Really? Okay.
Yes.
But yeah, he's drinking coffee in his Michigan cup, Jack. So, and Jack has a problem. Taylor Hill, period. Mm-hmm.
Yep, exactly.
And yeah, so since we talked about Jack so much, introduce yourself, Jack.
Hi, my name is Jack. I'm a Twitch streamer, a game designer, a college student, an overall mess,
and a coffee addict, apparently.
And a coffee addict. And right now, I am just drinking water because
he already had his
coffee.
I have a problem. He already had his coffee, so
I already had my coffee.
And like we said, we're talking about The Amazing Race and what is it called, Logan?
Mega Leg. I just love all of the promo materials. It was Lewis, and he's like, double the roadblock, double the detour, double the drama. Mega Leg.
That was a great promo thing. And then Phil was like, 2 detours, 2 roadblocks, 2 cities. It's gonna be great. It's the mega leg. I loved it. Come on, if you go promote something like a mega leg, you better give us what a mega leg is about. And they did that.
Mega leg brought me through emotions, left, right, and center. I went from happy to sad to pissed and everywhere in between.
Everywhere. But we see them jumping on the Amazing Race charter, heading off to Bologna, Italy.
I feel like Italy is a great place to do the mega leg too.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree. It's very picturesque. It's very pleasant to look at, and there's a lot of going on. And who doesn't want to spend some time in Italy? I know I do. So Italy was great. So the first 2 teams are setting off to go to Arco del Melancello. Arco del Melancello.
Yes.
Yes.
And that is Michael and Marcus and Glenda and Lumumba start off this leg on their way. And they have the detours. Now, the detours, let's get into the detours. The first detour is the head of the class detour, where you will go to a medical theater and you will listen to a professor talk about all the bones in the body. And you have to listen to this 8-minute lecture. I think it's 8-minute lecture to talk about all the bones and everything and the muscles and all that stuff. And then you would go to the courtyard and identify 16 bones under 90 seconds. That was your job. You have to listen to it and then
bones and
muscles and all organs, all of that in 90 seconds. And if you don't, then you have to go back, listen to the lecture again, and do it all over again. Or you can go with the big cheese. The big cheese. You get to go find this 88-pound cheese, a Parmesan cheese. Take this cheese to a Cafe Diana. They will cut it in half because they have specialty cheese cutters who will cut this cheese in half, and then you have to deliver it both halves to 2 restaurants. Bring the receipt back for your next clue.
The first restaurant is actually
right there.
Ristorante Diana. They take
Right
half of it, and then they transport the other half of it to Osteria de Capello.
On a cart, a wooden cart. That's like, I want to say a couple of blocks or a few blocks down the way from Restaurant Diana. So
88 pounds is a lot.
88 pounds is 88 pounds is huge. But then you cut it in half, so 44 pounds.
Yeah.
I would have done the cheese.
I would have done the cheese too.
The thing is, it was expressed by multiple teams. Like, yeah, I actually took anatomy in college, so I know a lot of this. That's why a lot of teams took it.
Yeah.
One team in particular did not, and it very much showed.
Yeah. So we start off. Glinda and Lumumba, they don't particularly read their clue, and they take off walking to try to find the next part of the detour when the clue clearly states drive yourself to the next part of this clue. And they walked for a good minute before they realized that they are supposed to drive. So that sets them back immensely. And from this point on in the race, they are constantly trying to make up for the at least hour and a half that they lost walking to this road, to this detour. So
they drop from second to nearly last.
Just by spending too much time walking and not reading the clue. So anybody who's going on Amazing Race, read your clue. That's key number one. So so we go to mostly people pick the big cheese. I think it's kind of split, right, between the 2 detours. A lot of people pick the big cheese.
It was mostly anatomy. There were only 3 teams that picked the big cheese, and that was Derek and Claire, Lewis and Michelle, and Marcus and Michael. And all of those in that case make sense
rather quickly.
Yeah, and all of them finished quickly, and they all made sense because Marcus and Michael were like 88 pounds. That's nothing. I'm like,
right.
Okay, sir.
And especially 88 pounds on a cart.
On a cart.
Like, in the nicest way possible. If you are transporting it on a cart, a lot of that weight is not going to feel like anything.
Right.
If you had to manhandle this 88 pounds of cheese, absolutely not.
Right. If I had to literally carry it, then no.
Yeah.
But putting it on a cart, even if I'm tired halfway, I can switch with somebody, my partner. Like,
exactly.
Okay, I'll carry it. I'll pull it this way, this much, and then you pull it. I'm tired. So,
and like you said, Lana,
that 88 pounds is only for the first half.
That's
right, because they cut it in half.
Disappears. So it's
literally then it becomes 44 pounds, and that's
44
a lot more
pounds.
Yeah,
on a cart.
The hardest part of that leg is getting the cheese on and off.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it's not bad.
No.
So that's very interesting that only 3 teams decided to do the big cheese and everybody else went to anatomy. And that showed to be very taxing on some people and some people not so much. So y'all can talk about the order if you want to. Who went, who did, what, where.
Well, so
I know Quentin and Sharika, they go in pretty early.
Who?
To the Linton.
I was like,
Linton
those are two different teams.
Yeah, Quentin is somebody else. Linton and Sharika, they went in pretty early, but they were having some difficulty remembering everything.
A lot of problems.
She realized that this was probably not the best one for them very early on. She was like, retaining this information is not. And then we had Will and Abby came in there shortly after with
Will and Abby came in. Emily,
it was like
right. Then
Molly
Emily and Molly came in.
It was that whole end group pretty much because it was Emily
Quentin and Maddie.
Yeah, Quentin and Maddie, Rich and Dom, Aubrey and David, Emily and Molly.
They all came in.
Will, they all like at the same time, basically.
And they absolutely destroyed it because, as all of them mentioned, Quentin and Maddie, one of them had taken anatomy.
Maddie had taken anatomy. She was like, I still remember a lot of this. And so they slayed that in the first time. Molly and Emily. Molly was like, I was in the medical field for so long.
I'm like, she's a nurse.
I was like,
you're right. She has this.
She has this down. She has to know this. And so they had that locked, and it took them no time, that one time to do it. But it took like Will and Abby did it a couple times.
Aubrey and David did it a couple times.
Linton and Sharik did it 4 times, I want to say, before they got it. Yeah. And then Rich and Dom comes in, and it takes them a couple times to get it because first we got to talk about how Rich and Dom, everybody, not even just Rich and Dom, there was a lot of people who did not know how to drive the stick. They struggled getting out of the parking lot, and it was crazy. It was like stall after stall. At one point, Michelle had to get out the car to push Lewis in the car back so they won't get hit by a bus. It was crazy. So a lot of people need to know, another PSA, please learn how to drive a stick if you're going to go on Amazing Race. Not just 2 weeks of learning before you go on. Like, for real, learn how to drive a stick where you're fluent in doing it. That's another PSA. But yeah, it was crazy. They had some issues getting out the parking lot. And I mean, literally half this cast had problems getting out of the parking lot.
I loved when Glenda and Lumumba left. Glenda's like, I kind of pride myself on my stick shift abilities. Immediately stalls.
She stalls. It's like, she was like, not after I said
like,
that.
Okay. Not after this.
Not after I just said that.
So the only excuse that they possibly have at this point is that during COVID, it probably would have been harder to get to a place where you could get a stick shift car unless you already had one. So maybe that's the excuse. But that's a hard maybe.
I mean, if you know you're going on the Amazing Race, y'all know for a fact, you need to get your butt into a parking lot with a stick shift and practice every day until you are comfortable and know exactly how to maneuver this thing. Even if it's 2 weeks, you need to practice so much that you know exactly how to do this. I know how to get in reverse. I know how to start it. I know how to get to drive. I just know, like, I shouldn't still be going on the race like, do I remember how to get in reverse? Do I remember how to get in neutral? Do I remember how to? No, I should be able to be like, all right, get the car. I'm driving this thing like it's a goddamn manual. Like poof, it should be second nature. But okay. But they was having some problems. But after they got the gist of driving, Rich and Dom actually had a really hard time just navigating. Dom was very much in a special place in this episode. Y'all know I live in my Issa Rae era. I root for everybody black.
Period.
I do that. I live in that era all of my life. This episode was not the best episode for me to be rooting for everybody black because everybody black was getting on my last nerve. Starting with Dom in this one, like she was literally like panicking and freaking out over the littlest things. Rich, you need to watch the road and read the signs. I'm like, Dom, that is your job as the navigator in the back. She freaking out because she can't read a map. Another PSA, learn how to read a map. if you're going on the Amazing Race.
If you don't know how to drive a stick shift, learn how to read a map.
Read a map.
One of y'all needs to drive a stick shift, and one of y'all needs to learn a map.
Because you need to be
both.
I mean, preferably both, but you can't expect the person driving to also navigate. That is what you're there for. If you can't navigate and not drive, then what the heck are you there for? So I was like, Dom, get a grip, read the map, and tell them where to go. This lane, right, we're going this way. She was just having a problem. So they finally everybody gets to what they got to do. They do the detours. It's all over the place for everybody. But then we go to the roadblocks. And the roadblock is, who's ready for a break? Who's ready for a break?
At the Ducati factory.
At the Ducati people.
I love that.
It's honestly really cool.
It's so cool. And the Ducati Speedway like, what? I would have been freaking out, and I'm not even a motorcycle or auto person, but the fact of it's Ducati, and we get to go to a Ducati and work on a Ducati bike. In what lifetime am I going to be working on a Ducati bike or at a Ducati plane? Never. So I would have been excited about that. A lot of them were. And they get to this roadblock, and they have to assemble the wheels and the brake of a motorcycle. And then once they get that approved, they have to put the body on the bike. Yeah. Marcus and Michael gets there first because they finished their thing first. And Marcus is like, okay, I'll do it. Sure.
It's Michael.
Oh, Michael. Yeah, Michael said, I'll do it. Sure. And Marcus is like, look, I'm not a bike person. I have a Ducati. I have one, which is great. And I love it. He's like, but there's two types of people in this world. One who do the work and one who pays people to do the work for them. And I'm a person that pays someone to do the work for me. And I was like, I feel that in my entire soul, Marcus, because I am one. If I see something wrong, I'll pay somebody to do it for me because there's no way I can do it.
Absolutely.
And yeah, it was a cute challenge, by the way. It was cute. Yeah. I would have been like completely lost doing this challenge though, because mechanical stuff.
Not my forte either. No. Of all the teams, we had Will, David, Claire, Emily, Lumumba, Linton, to nobody's surprise, Lewis, Michael, Quentin, and Rich doing this challenge. Interesting that there are only 2 women doing this challenge, but
yeah. First of all, I was side-eyeing DX, like, why are you letting Claire do this after we just had the whole yodel debacle? Like, I would tell her to chill out.
We just talked about this.
we just had a whole yodel debacle, and you still allow her to do another roadblock? Like,
it may have been. I don't know this to be true. I know they've been putting out videos on YouTube, and I've been meaning to watch them. And
I have not watched any of them.
But I know that there may have been something where, in their mind, again, this is Mega Leg. They're like, someone might be like, the other teammate might be forced to do the second roadblock. And in that case, when it's closer to the actual pit stop, putting Derek in that is maybe a little bit safer than putting Claire in it. And so I don't know if that was the thought process, but that's at least where my mind went. And that's how I thought it was going to go. That wasn't the case, but that's how I thought it was going to go.
But I thought it was too, but because it's been in seasons past, if you do one, your partner has to do the other.
If it's a joint leg situation. Miss Emily comes in here and she slays the game.
First, okay, let me just say this about Miss
Lana has to organize her stuff.
Let me say this about Molly and Emily. I adore them with my whole heart.
I love them.
I love them so much. First of all, their story already resonated, and I was like, I'm rooting for them. But the second thing is this. When Emily got in this challenge, Emily says, I am a single mother. I have to put everything together myself. I have toys I put together by myself. I have Legos I put together by myself. I got IKEA furniture that I have to put together by myself. I know how to follow instructions. I went over there and watched that man's tutorial, and I paid attention to every single detail of what this man was doing to put together a Ducati bike. A bike. Not talking about furniture. We're talking about a freaking bike that you put on the road. Like, seriously. And she watched him do this. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, check this out. If this woman can watch a tutorial on how to put together a motorcycle, wheels and brakes and body panels, we can do stuff if we just take the time to learn how to do stuff. You can watch a tutorial and figure this stuff out. So we can't be like, I don't know how to do. And I'm talking about me too, because I literally just said I can't do it. I wouldn't be able to. I can do it if I sit there and pay attention and watch and learn how to do it. And she went in there with no automobile skills or knowledge and put together wheels and brakes and a body panel on a Ducati bike and did it effortlessly. People were struggling. Like, they couldn't even figure out how to use tools. And she was just like, let me watch. Got it.
Yep.
And put it together so fast, moved them from out of 7th place to
7th or 8th to
7th or 8th place to 2nd place. Shot them right out of the way. It was so good. I was like, Miss Emily, I'm a stan. I'm a fan. I loved it.
Mother.
Quite literally a mother.
Mother. She was everything. I loved it.
I every single day, more and more, I fall in love with this team. Like, I don't know how they keep doing it, but they are just incredible.
Yeah.
Beautiful. It was beautiful to watch them. And then we had David, who is Mr. Auto Mechanic, helicopter
mechanic.
Helicopter mechanic. I'm like, if you don't get this, and he killed like he was supposed to, because he did that. I was impressed with people who like never done it and actually finished it. It took them some time, but they got it done. And it was nice. But what was crazy is seeing like Glenda and Lumumba coming in much later in the episode. They were done in last place, coming in with Rich and Nam, and they all come in at about the same time, and they come back and they're watching people just like finishing. They're coming in to start and people are finishing, which I don't know. For me, I would be so devastated. Like, oh man, oh, this is so disheartening. We gotta step it up. It's so disheartening to come in and do it, and you just see people leaving, and you still like, I'm putting on the wheels. I'm still putting on the wheels.
Let me get this wheel.
Let me get this wheel and this brake on, and they're like, we're done. But for them, like Rich went in there and he did it. He followed the instructions and he did it pretty quickly in that time frame, and they were off. And Lumumba stuck with it. My favorite part of this whole thing, when Lumumba got there and Glenda Lumumba got there and they read the clue, he was like, who's ready for a break? Lumumba like, me, I'm ready for a break right now. And Glenda's
like a break, thank you.
Glenda's like, he's ready for a break from me. I get it. Because they went through, but
I'm sure she was just like, okay, do I get to like just like sit back and relax now? Like, is that what the Detour is? We just get to relax for 30 minutes. Like, I need it.
Honestly. Yeah, I mean, most people did a pretty good job. I do want to talk about, we had a similar conversation in our last episode. We're going to talk about the Claire of it all. Now, I love this woman.
Mm-hmm.
She's one of my favorite reality people of recent years. Ma'am, you are an AI engineer.
Mm-hmm.
I'm slightly concerned.
Oh.
Just slightly.
I'm a little bit more than slightly concerned.
What's
Am I
happening?
still rooting for them? Absolutely, I will be rooting for them until they are either eliminated or win the race. But I really hope that there are challenges in the near future that fit Claire's skill set a little bit better than what's already than what we've had so far. Yes. So we see Marcus and Michael, continue their dominance. They leave first. Emily and Molly leave second. Everybody else leaves in a period of time between third and ninth. I don't remember the exact order. And then it's Glenda and Lumumba and Rich and Dom leaving, going into the second half of the Mega Leg.
The Mega Leg.
Mega Leg. Okay. Let's talk about episode 4. Episode 4. God,
this was something else.
I literally just throughout this episode went, oh, God, no, it can't get no.
Yeah.
If you didn't think it could get worse in the first half of the Mega Leg, it gets much worse.
So much worse.
It's so crazy. So after they get finished with the roadblock or whatever, now they're heading to Florence, Italy, which is a beautiful city in Italy. I actually want to go to Florence, Italy. It looks beautiful. Yes. And so the roadblock is first this time. And the roadblock is, who wants a chiseled body? And I'm like, sure, me. I would want a chiseled body. And you have to chisel out a piece of artwork for it to fit in a gallery. Now, I'm going to say this. Amazing Race, y'all got me. Because when they showed this thing, I was like, now who in the heck do they think they're dealing with? Well, they think they was going to have somebody chiseling out this David just... Who was going to do that? And they had me fooled because I'm like, I would have been the one person like, how am I supposed to do this? And then, but what it was, they had a block of like stone or whatever, marble or whatever. Marble is plaster. Look, plaster. Really plaster.
It's solidified plaster. I've used it before. I knew it. Yeah.
It's plaster. So they had to chisel out the plaster, and the statue was actually engulfed in this plaster. Now they don't tell them that. They just chisel away. And so everybody is coming in I'm supposed to make that? How am I supposed to make that? That's crazy. Go ahead.
My favorite moment of this whole thing is when everybody's there and Rich and Dom show up. And Dom, before the freak out, which we'll obviously talk about, before she almost quits, she looks at this statue. She's like, we have to do this? And Molly was like, yeah, what do you mean? I was a sculpting major.
No, that wasn't. She wasn't.
Or was that before? That was Aubrey. That was Aubrey.
Yeah,
never mind.
Yeah, Aubrey did that.
Aubrey's like, what? And she was like, what do you mean? I thought everyone was a sculpting major or something.
Yeah, she was like, I was a sculpting major. You didn't know? That was funny. But what you're talking about is when Dom gets there.
I'm blending the two together.
Yeah, she was like, we have to do this, and Michelle was just like, yeah, not saying it's inside or not saying you just have to chisel. She was just like, yeah, we have to make this. We made this.
Yeah, what do you mean? I've been doing this for the last hour.
And I was just like, ooh.
I was like, someone help this woman, please.
That was hard to watch. Her moment was hard to watch because I was like, child.
It felt so bad.
It was literally she was ready to give up before even taking the first chisel. She looked at it. And said, I can't do this.
Literally.
And I was just like, Miss Life Coach, Miss Positive Thinking, Miss Positive Vibes, Miss Let's do this. How do you look at something and say, I can't do it without even trying to do it? I just didn't understand that. This was a moment for me. I was like, Dom, get it together, girl. Like, I'm rooting for you and you're embarrassing me right now. Like, get it together. Because she was ready to take a 4-hour penalty when you're in last place. Who? What?
I just love Rich being like, honey, if we take a penalty, we're out. Like,
right.
Can
like,
you
don't
try
you
this,
dare?
please?
Don't you dare! No, we're not doing this.
Like, try. I need you to try. And then when she reads the clue again, realizes, oh, it's inside here. I just have to. Okay. But you would think that would be the end of the freak out. Oh, but no, it's not. Because the freak out continues because now mine doesn't look as good as everybody else's. I'm not doing this right. Oh, this is horrible. And you would think that would be the worst freak out of the show. But no, it's
incorrect.
Not. So let's talk about the good times before we get to the horrible times, because everybody is doing this thing and people are leaving, they're getting it done.
Yeah.
Doing it. Getting it done. Moving along.
For context, we have Abby, Aubrey, Derek, Molly, Lumumba, Sharik. We'll talk about it. Michelle, Marcus, Maddie, and Dom doing this roadblock.
They're all doing the roadblock. Doing it. Catching it up. They even supply plaster to fill in the gaps where if you chip something or fix something, they give you all the stuff to do it. Everybody's doing it. Molly and Emily, they do it pretty quickly, and she's just like filling in her gaps. She's first up out of there. Not too far behind is Marcus and Michael, and they're gone. And it just continues to go from that point. Everybody's leaving. Lumumba and Glenda actually makes up some ground doing this one, from being the very, very last to not the very last anymore. They go. They moved up one. They passed Linton and Sharika. So, so they did. Yeah, people are moving ground and moving up.
It's like the people that have been in the front of the race are still in the front of the race. The people who have been in the back of the race are still in the back of the race. And all of the people that have been in the middle, the whole goddamn race, are still in the middle of the race.
Still in the middle of the race. Yeah. So it's very much how it played out, how it looked like it was going to play out. Like nothing different. It didn't look like it was going to change anytime soon. And so after the roadblock, we go to the detours are either Eye for Fashion, where you find a different fashion shoots around the city and you match the outfits to the locations and all of that stuff. Now, people did not think to remember locations as well as the outfits, because they were just thinking it's a fashion. We need to focus on the fashion and what outfits are what. That's what it is. Then you have the other detours, the window of opportunity, where you find 3 windows and you get some Tuscan soup, some cured meats, and some biscotti, and you deliver it to some diners hanging out. Now, I don't know about nobody else, but I would have been eating some of that meat. I would have been eating some of that meat on the way. I would have took a little piece because I was hungry, I'm sure.
Lewis was like, we can't eat this.
We can't eat this? We can't eat it. Like, no.
I'm really starting to be a big fan of Lewis and Michelle too. I'm going to be honest. Like, Lewis specifically is providing so much entertainment.
So what I personally would have done, I would have gone to the window, ate the cured meats, and then asked for another one, because they would have to go back if they dropped it. So, right? So,
I dropped it into my stomach.
No, I dropped it directly into my mouth. Oh no!
Or I would have just been to the chef, like, "Excuse me, can I get one little piece of that meat?" I would have asked for a piece of meat.
Can I get an order to go?
Can I get a little piece of meat? Just a little something so I can gnaw on my way to the next window. And I'm like, can I get a little cup of soup, a little sample size of soup? And I would, like, They would have talked about me because I would have asked for the food, a little piece of everything, and on my way. But we running around. I'm hungry. I want to eat.
I will also say it was really nice for them on both legs of the detour to highlight just modern culture. First off, I mean, the obvious thing that sticks out in my mind is a male presenting person wearing a dress. Like that was awesome to see. I was like,
yeah,
damn, they look good.
yeah.
And also the window of opportunity, having something that references COVID in a positive way of saying like,
this is how they got their food. This is how they got.
This is how they did stuff, and they used parts of the old city. That was so awesome to see.
It was very awesome to see. I was about to say it was like for them to reference that this is how they first had to do this during the bubonic plague, and then had to turn around and do it again during COVID. I was like, how history is repeating itself, and how we have, we can't just throw away the old because it's old, because who knows when we're going to have to use this same system again. And so the fact that they did that for the bubonic plague, and then we had to do it for COVID, and so they had those windows there. Beautiful. The fact that we did have a man in a dress taking photos in a photo shoot. We had beautiful Black queens looking gorgeous and stunning. And then we had beautiful models. It just was a beautiful situation. Like both detours were really great detours. I applaud the Amazing Race for doing really good detours this season, because this one was really, really good. And for this photo shoot, like if I could do a photo shoot in those places, that was the most picturesque to have that beautiful tower and that clock behind them taking those amazing. Like if I was those models, I'd be like, could we get a couple of these shoots for my book? Because these
I
are
feel like they had to have. I feel like they had to have.
Yeah, like I need a couple of these shots for my book, because these are great. These were
I was watching this episode with my roommate, and as soon as the like eye for fashion popped up, he was like, Florence for fashion?
Right. He was thinking
Milan for fashion. I'm like, okay, it's the second biggest fashion city in Italy behind Milan. So hello. What challenge would y'all have done?
I would have did the fashion.
Me too.
Because I feel like I would have remembered fashion. Now, the thing would have tripped me up is remembering the locations of the fashion, because I would have thought the same thing everybody else thought. This is eye for fashion, so I need to be more meticulous on what they're wearing instead of where they are. But I also would have been like, where do we go to first? It's no way you can't remember a carousel. And you know what I'm saying? It's a carousel there. I'm going to see that and I'm going to remember it. Even if I'm trying to remember this outfit, the red, the black, we're in a carousel. Okay, I'm going to remember that. So I know that goes with the carousel.
I would have just been marveling at all of the architecture, that I would have remembered what things were. Mm-hmm. Whether I was like intentionally looking for them or not would have been another thing. But like, I would have been like, oh my God, I'm in Italy architecture. Oh my God. That would have been me the whole time. That will be me if I ever get on The Amazing Race and I end up in like Greece or Italy. I'm going to be like, oh my God, architecture. Just the whole time.
I'm honestly not sure which side of the detour I'd want to do. I think because I'm a fat ass and I love food, absolutely the food.
So when they initially were like, you have to find 3 out of 150 windows.
Yeah,
I thought it was one of those. Like, I thought it was like the needle in the haystack type of challenge, where like all 150 windows are available, and I didn't realize at first that they gave you the locations of the 3 windows, and so I was like, no, absolutely not. I could have easily seen myself doing both of them, because I agree with you, Jack. I'm also a fat ass. So, like, would have loved some cured meats and soups and all of that kind of stuff. But, let's see. So, we had Doing Eye for Fashion, we had Aubrey and David, Emily and Molly, Marcus and Michael, and Rich and Dom. And then Window of Opportunity was Abby and Will, Derek and Claire, Glenda and Lumumba, Lewis and Michelle, Quentin and Maddie, and Linton and Shariq.
But let's talk. Let's go back a little bit because
the Shariq of it all.
The Shariq of it all. Because after the chisel, Shariq's arms were tired. Shariq's arms hurt. Shariq's arms were not feeling good. So Shariq wanted to quit. And not just say, I want to quit. Say it over and over and over and over again that she wants to quit because her arms hurt. Because she had to chisel this thing for an hour and a half. And she's tired. That gave, you know what that was giving, Shariq? I hope you ever see this. That was giving very spoiled brat of you. That was giving very, I'm entitled. That was giving very, I'm not really here for the right reasons. I'm only here because my dad wants me to do it. And so since my dad wants me to do it, I guess I'll do it. But any little bit of adversity, it's a problem. Any little bit of hardships, I'm going to quit. That does not look good on your real life ambitions and how you are in real life. If this is how you are on The Amazing Race, is any little bit of adversity, any bit of hardship, anything that's going to test you, you're going to quit. Because if that's the case, you'll quit forever and you'll never you'll never learn anything. So many people want to be on the Amazing Race. Look at this panel right here. We've all said at one point, we would love to do The Amazing Race. We would love to do The Amazing Race. And you have the opportunity to do it. And you said earlier in the episodes, there was 3 roadblocks and you've done none of them. Your dad has done all of them and you've done 0. And your first roadblock that you do, you're ready to quit.
It was not fun.
It was the worst. I was ready to throw I was watching it this morning on my phone. I wanted to throw my phone against the wall. Like, are you freaking kidding me?
Yeah. I want to highlight something that was said on Twitter on the Amazing Race hashtag. This is not me defending Shariq, and I'll read my reply to this because I don't defend Shariq in the slightest, but someone who clearly is not a millennial or Gen Z tweeted, Shariq is the epitome of what's wrong with millennials and Gen Z. Her dad doing all he can to stay positive, and she wants to go home because she sets boundaries for herself and didn't fly through a roadblock. So entitled, so unappreciative, so embarrassing. And while I agree with parts of that,
I agree with parts of it. Don't blame.
Jack, just wait. Jack, just wait. I replied, okay, not all of us are like that. Let me make that very clear. I'm pissed at her behavior, but don't lump all of us into that category because that's simply not the case. I work my ass off for everything I have without the support of my family. To which this man, clearly not understanding a single word I said, replied, fair, let's compromise at 90%. To which I did not reply and blocked him. But, because that, again, not the case. Do I think Shariq is incredibly entitled and all of that and everything he described her as? Absolutely. But don't lump all of us in because that is simply not the case. And I wanted to highlight that because that man is an asshole. Anyway, Shariq, I was just screaming at my TV, just like, go home. Go home.
See, the thing is, Shariq gave up. Like, fully gave up on this leg.
Yeah.
And now she's playing out the remainder of the season, which I think realistically means her team is doomed. Like, she's going to go home within the next 1 to 2 legs because she's already given up.
If they do not go home in the next leg, I'm going to be pissed. And I have nothing against Linton. I think he's a wonderful person. I'm very happy he's getting a great Amazing Race experience. But the more that they stay in the competition is more teams who actually want to be there not getting that opportunity to do so. And I think back to last season when they had to take the COVID break and 4 teams didn't come back. All of those teams would have loved to have the opportunity that Shariq has. And for her to just, in the middle of a leg, after doing the first challenge by herself, says, oh, I don't want to do this. I want to go home. I want to go home. I want to go home. Okay, then go home. You don't deserve to be there anymore.
This is the part that bothers me. Because if this was an individual thing, yeah, go home. Girl, bye. Girl, bye. But Linton does not deserve that. Because this man obviously wants to be there. Obviously is a fan of this show. Obviously wanted to have a moment with his daughter that not a lot of father and daughters get to do. And this is what you have to deal with. Now, I'm sure he's used to dealing with her spoiled brattiness and her, her antics, and he has to deal with it at home. That's your child. You raised her. You got to deal with that. And I'm sorry that America is now, and the world is now going to see how bratty she could be and what you have to put up with. But it's not fair for him to have to go home because she wants to quit. And so I feel like that's really why she is like, I want to go. I don't want to go. And he's literally begging her to do it. So this all comes into play when we get to the end game of this all, because let's just start with the winner of this leg. The mega leg was Molly and Emily. Great. Love that.
Done before, literally best team on the Amazing Race ever. I don't want to ask questions. There is no defending it.
Jack will not be elaborating at this time.
I am fully in Molly.
Don't add him.
There is nothing anyone can do to make me not an Emily and Molly stan. Period.
Yeah.
Period. I love it. Yeah. I love them. I love them so much. Yeah. Second, Will and Abby comes in third.
Good for them.
Good for them. Like, they really have never been out of 6th place or higher than 6th place before, and now they've come in third. So great for them. Birmingham natives, I'm here for it. I'm rooting for them for that fact alone. It's nice getting watch parties in the city every now and again. So that's great. Lewis and Michelle comes in fourth, right along with Quentin and Maddie, who they all worked together and came in together. One note about that: Will and Abby and Quentin and Michelle and Lewis, Quentin and Maddie and Lewis and Michelle all were leaving around the same time. And Quentin and Maddie and Lewis and Michelle were like, do you want to work together? And they were like, yeah. They didn't ask Will and Abby. Will and Abby was like, we'd rather work by ourselves. And working by themselves got them in third place. So I wasn't mad at that at all. Nope. Aubrey and David comes in 6th place. Derek and Claire comes in 7th place. Glenda and Lumumba has come up, and they're in 8th place. Now this, I was very happy. I was so nervous for them. They actually want to be there, and they actually were trying hard to be there. So this is where I was like, this is when it was hard for me to be in my Issa Rae era, because Linton and Shariq comes in 9th place.
Yeah.
Not last. She comes to the mat, and she's still talking about how much she wants to quit. You come in 9th place, and you still are saying, I want to quit. Now, playing the devil's advocate, possibly this mega leg took a whole lot out of her that she didn't, think would happen, because it's an extra long leg. You're doing a lot of stuff. There's no breaks in between. All this happens in one day. So it's a lot. And I get it. I understand. So the other side of me is like, this girl probably was just exhausted. She probably was just like over it. And we've all been to a point where we've just been over something. And I've done it. I've said, I'm over it. I don't even want to deal with it. And you can be that stubborn. And I think once she gets to sleep, the next leg, she's going to be a totally different person. I don't think she's going to talk about wanting to quit. She's going to wake up. She's going to realize where she is, what she's doing, who she's doing it with, the experience that she is, that she probably just crapped on in the last leg. She's going to appreciate it more. And I think next week we're going to see a different Sharif. I do. But in this episode, I did not like her at the mat like, I want to quit, to the point where Phil was like, you don't have to be here. You can quit if you want to. And in that moment, I was like, please quit. I would rather see Rich and Dom here. I would rather see Rich and Dom here. Please quit. Please quit. It would have sucked for Quentin. But Linton, not Quentin. Why do I keep saying Quentin? Linton. See, these whole names alike is always detrimental.
And they're both black men, which also doesn't help.
And it doesn't help. Quentin and Linton. And I like both those names. But anyway, Linton, it wouldn't have been fair for, I would have sucked. I would have been so upset for Linton if she would have decided she wanted to quit. And I think if she said she wanted to quit, Linton would have quit with her and been like, okay. Yes. He probably would have been like, he would have had to be okay with it. But she decided to stay. And I'm doing it for my dad. I just wanted to just like punch her in the throat for saying like that.
I'm doing it for my dad. I love you.
I love you. So I'll do it for you. Like, fine, I'll do it. Like,
it
baby, Rich and Dom are right behind you, wishing they could be in your position, and you're like, fine, I guess I'll stay. Like, ugh. Rich and Dom were eliminated. They were the last team to arrive, and it was sad. Dom had some issues this leg. It was their 3rd year anniversary.
I said it before we started recording, but the moment I heard that it was their 3-year anniversary, I was like, they're going home. They wouldn't have included that in episode 3 if they weren't going home. So I think they're great and lovely and wonderful. Are they great contestants on The Amazing Race? Maybe not, but I think they're great people and they provided a lot of entertainment. So that's that on that. And all that. Yeah. That we did the mega leg in under an hour.
I mean, God. So at this point, where are y'all in terms of who do you want to see go far at this point? Like,
Emily and Molly.
now that we're a bit farther into the season.
Okay.
I think the top 3. This is simultaneously who I think and who I want. I think it's going to be Marcus and Michael, Emily and Molly, and one of the other teams. And it could be Derek and Claire because they were very strong in those first couple of legs. I think it could be Quentin and Maddie, but I feel like they're going to find a leg where it's just like the challenges don't fit either one of them, and they end up going like 6th-ish, maybe. I don't know any spoilers, so that's
guess. I mean, just looking at like the actual ranking, like everybody jumps around. Like, for example, Marcus and Michael after placing 6th in the first leg have not dropped out of the first 2 to check in. If you count like the roadblock in the middle as like a check-in point for the mega leg. And then Emily and Molly, I mean, just did really, really well this leg. Everyone else has jumped around a lot. I mean, Abby and Will have averaged around 7th before placing 3rd this leg. Lewis and Michelle were 10th in the first leg, but then got 5th and 4th. Quentin and Maddie jumped around a lot. They went from 3 to 10 to 8 in the middle of the leg to 5. Aubrey and David, 11, 8, and then 3rd to 6th in this leg. Derek and Claire got 1st in the first leg and then just kind of like settled into the middle of the pack. Glenda and Lumumba were great in the first 2 legs and then fell apart during this leg. And then Linton and Sharik were good during the first 2 legs and then fell apart during this leg. So, yeah, I'm pretty much on board to say Marcus and Michael are basically almost guaranteed to be in the finale at this point. I have no idea who else.
Unless there's like a U-turn situation.
Unless there's a U-turn situation. But then again, I think they're probably going to get to that U-turn first. And if you get to a U-turn before anyone else, you can't be targeted.
Yeah.
So it'll just be very... I think this season is already really balanced. So I want to see what happens. The only people that were like the obvious like next to go were Rich and Dom because they got 9th, and then went from 9th to 10th in this leg. Like they were going by their own track records, they were going to go home very soon.
Yeah.
So it is very, very interesting. I think anyone, if they make a mistake, could easily go home next.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. This is the thing. We've seen an Amazing Race where somebody who started a leg off in the last position, who somehow in the next leg just finds their stride and they pick it up and they pick it up. And then you see people who were at the top of the pack lose their stride. We see Derek and Claire just lost their stride.
Glenda and
Lumumba. But I also feel like when you lose your stride in the legs to come, I really feel like, and this is just my heart, this is just my gut telling me, I feel like Glenda Lumumba and Derek and Claire are due for a surge.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they're at that point where it's like, I'm tired of losing. Glenda Lumumba definitely has learned we have to read the clues. So that's going to help them. They're going to be very meticulous about reading these clues from this point on. Derek and Claire are going to make better decisions on who's doing roadblocks and who's doing, what. It's just, I feel like they're on their way. And I feel like we need to still look out for like an Aubrey and David, because they have been in the middle of the pack for most of this game. But I feel like a stride is coming for them too. But in all honesty, Michael, like you said, Michael and Marcus have not fallen out of the top in a very long time. And so I can see them, if we're going by statistics and, data and all that, statistically, they should make it to the final leg easily. But we also seen they are not that great with directions either. And directions can kill them if they lose an hour or two in this race going in the wrong direction. So they need to pick that up. And I feel like I will only go with my heart, and who I feel like is going to make it to the final leg. Who I want to see in the final leg would be a Molly, Emily, a Michael and Marcus, and a Lumumba and Glenda. That's who I would love to see. That's what I would love to see. Now, anybody else, I don't hate anybody on this race. And I say it week after week after week. I don't hate anybody. So anybody who makes it to the final leg, I will be happy to see them. And I feel like they would probably deserve to be there. Now, Linton, I would love to see in the final leg too. But it's his partner is the only person that's giving me grief. But I don't not like her. I just feel like this was a bad leg for her. She was just exhausted. She was just tired. She was just feeling all those emotions. And the only difference is from her and everybody else in this world, our emotions when we're having a bad day is not on national TV. She was having a bad day. She was having a bad leg, and it was just on national TV. Did I ream her out for it? Yes. She deserved that ream out. She deserved all the lashings that she gets for this episode. But is she a bad person? No. She just had a bad moment. And everybody, we need to get over it. She had a bad moment. I really do feel like the next leg, she's going to bounce back from this bad moment and it's going to be fine. And then everybody will be good.
She's going to bounce back, but are they going to be able to bounce back from that last place position?
Right.
That's what I'm
not sure about that.
In Jordan.
Yay.
We're going to Jordan.
They teamed it the whole damn season. The first ever trip for the Amazing Race to the Kingdom of Jordan. I believe they're going to be there. It's not a mega leg the next 2 episodes, but they are in Jordan for the next 2 episodes.
That is correct. Yeah.
But if you're going to be in Jordan, then you need to stay. And it's the first time they've been there. They need to stick around for a little while.
Yeah, so we'll be in Jordan through episodes 5 and 6, and then presumably going. I think the next stop is France. I think. I know France was listed as a country they were going to, and Lana, I don't remember the other country that was listed at the start of the season. There was one other country. Check. I think
that was Greece.
I thought it was Greece too.
Maybe. I can't remember.
It might be Greece. I don't remember.
I
had a bunch listed when we did the cast assessment, and I just don't remember.
Yeah, I would need to run back through. Oh, okay. There is a list here. So if you don't want to hear this list, when I wave my hand like this, you will know exactly when this list stops. Yeah. The list is starting now. It is going to Jordan, France, England, Spain, Iceland, and the ending, of course, will be in the U.S. So,
Nashville, Tennessee.
Yeah.
Very much sad that I couldn't go to Nashville to see the final legs coming in.
Right.
That would have been cute.
It was Iceland. I was like, it's one of those Scandinavian countries. I just couldn't remember which one. Iceland.
Mm-hmm.
So, well, that's that on that. Mega leg.
Mega leg.
Mega leg.
We got into the mega leg, and
we got a whole mega leg. Mm-hmm. We had a whole mega leg, and so y'all know what to do. Y'all, you like the content that we give you? Follow, like, subscribe, all of that, and follow us on Twitter at @thecup_reality to know when all the shows are coming out, when we're doing what. If you ever decide that you want to podcast on this podcast with us about a show, hit us up, DM us, tell us. You can DM the Cup. You can DM Logan at Gym Leader Logan. You can DM me at Lady J78. We'll be happy to get you on talking about a show that you love to talk about. So
you can DM Jack too if you really want to. But
you can DM me too, but I'm really just going to be a pass through. I'm like an extended.
You can DM Jack who will then DM us. Literally,
it'll just be a chain, but like, it's like, come
to the source. Come to the source and tell us what show you like. If we're not talking about your show that you like and you want us to talk about a show, let us know. Hit us up. We'll see what we can do. We got everything from drag races and all over the world, drag races and Dragulas and all other stuff and Survivor and, The Amazing Race and other stuff.
The Mole.
Coming soon.
Coming soon when we figure it out, I guess.
When I finally have time to watch it.
Well, it's just the time. It's really the time.
It's a time thing. It's a time
it has been an adventure ducking, dodging, and weaving through these spoilers on Twitter. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
Oh, it's been a mess.
I had to mute some of my friends.
Yeah,
I mute them. Just muted.
I got spoiled on everything, but it's okay.
I have not been spoiled yet, so.
But it's okay. It's all right. But check us out. Follow us, like us, subscribe, share this content because sharing is caring. We would love to have more subscribers. Tell your friends about us. And that's it. Thanks for watching. We appreciate you so much. Bye, y'all. Cheers.
Bye.
Cheers. Bye-bye. Bye. Rank that boy. Bye.
Bye.